I'm with my friend Tangpa,
Yeah.
my Indian friend. Say hi, my friend.
Hi, my friend Noel from Filipino, and I'm
Yes.
from India.
Yes, thank you.
We're going a trip at Tel Azeka, the rising sun.
Okay.
Now my friend makes video coverage. It's a nice photographer.
Yeah, we're going down now.
Yeah.
Going back to our bus. So you have to be careful.
When we reach our bus, we'll take breakfast.
Yes. We have to have coffee. It's very
Yeah,
cold.
Very cold.
Oh, it's very cold now. Careful. Okay, bentay.
Lacson, kaway-kaway. Wala. Lahat ng kay Pacquiao. Okay, sino pa ba? Okay, yung mga kay Madam Lenny, kaway-kaway. Ay wala rin. O lahat ng kay BBM.
Yay!
Ano yan, BBM?
Yay!
BBM talaga. Yala, let's go. BBM sila. Okay. Ayan. May chilling pa pala kayo, ha?
Walang bayad! Wala kaming bayad!
Vlogger ito. Pwede na kayong magkay sa Pinas. Uy, okay lang. Okay lang, go ahead. Tel Azeka.
the book of Joshua chapter 10. But before reading Joshua chapter 10, let me show something to you, because this is the timeline or the narrative of the story. Alright. So yung mga nandiyan, kung pwede kayo punta dito sa harap, ano? Okay. Check ko lang saglit, ha? Pagkamali tayo ituturo sa inyo. Alright, so nandito tayo ngayon sa Bet-Shemesh. Okay, Bet-Shemesh. Hanapin nyo na lang, Bet-Shemesh. Alright, kita ang Bet-Shemesh. Alright, so Bet-Shemesh, okay. And then, alright, before the battle took place here in Tel Azeka, Joshua and the Israelites, they are in Gilgal. Where is Gilgal? Here in Jericho. That's it. So, it's very far. So, from here to in Gilgal to Tel Azeka, by bus, that would be around 1 hour and 30 minutes. So, ganun kalayo yung journey ng na ginawa nila Joshua para mangyari itong story or event in Joshua chapter 10. So let me read to you the passage from verse 1 to verse 11. Listen well and listen good about the story so that we could find out what happened here in Tel Azeka. So this is the story. Now it came to pass when Adonizedek, king of Jerusalem, had heard how Joshua had taken Ai and had utterly destroyed it, as he had done to Jericho and her king, so he had done to Ai and her king, and how the inhabitants of Gibeon had made peace with Israel and were among them. Now listen up. So Joshua destroyed Jericho. Joshua destroyed Ai and Jericho. Have you been there in Jericho? Yes. So Jericho is one of the biggest fortified city in those days, but it was defeated by Joshua. So now the king of Jerusalem is in trouble. Why? Because Jericho and Jerusalem, it is a close locations. So primarily, Jerusalem could be the next city to be conquered by Joshua after Ai. So prior to that, he think of something to prevent the conquest of Joshua or the Israelites. So verse 2, that they feared greatly because Gibeon was a great city, as one of the royal cities, and because it was greater than Ai, and all the men thereof were mighty. Now Ai is a mighty city in those days, and Ai is greater than Jerusalem in those days. Ai is something, this is a city. Before you arrive in Jerusalem, this is the place on the left side, wherein you can see some houses, villages right now. So that is Ai, and the men there are mighty, and they made peace with Joshua. They don't want to fight the Israelites because they heard Jericho fell down, Ai fell down, and they don't want to experience the same thing. So some of the men of Ai, they disguise that they are beggars from a far country, and they brought some old bread, and they deceived Joshua, and there was a covenant of peace between between Gibeon and the Israelites. So because of that, Adonizedek, king of Jerusalem, sent unto Huham, king of Hebron, about 26 kilometers away from here, and unto Piram, king of Jarmuth, and unto Japhia, king of Lachish. So this will be our next place. And unto Geber, king of Hebron, saying, come up unto me and help me, that we may smite Gibeon, for it hath helped me, and hath made peace with Joshua and with the children of Israel. Therefore, the 5 kings of the Amorites, listen up, the 5 kings of the Amorites, the king of Jerusalem, the king of Hebron, the king of Jarmuth, the king of Lachish, the king of Eglon, gathered themselves together and went up and they all their host and encamped before Gibeon and made war against it. So because Gibeon made a covenant of peace with the Israelites, they wanted, these 5 kings, they wanted to destroy the Gibeonites. And so what happened? And the men of Gibeon sent unto Joshua to the camp of Gilgal, saying, slack not thy hand from thy servant, come up to us quickly, and save us, and help us for all the kings of the Amorites that dwell in the mountains. Or you can say, these are mountains around 50 minutes by bus or 1 hour by bus. So, it's far, mga kapatid. It's far. So, by walk, it's not, you cannot be there at 1 hour. That would take around 1 day. And the Gibeonites said, come quickly, help us, rescue us. So Joshua ascended from Gilgal, because Gilgal is below sea level. That's why it says ascended, because Jerusalem is a higher elevation. And all the people of war with him, yun na, yung mga warriors, they go up. And all the mighty men of valor, and the Lord said unto Joshua, fear them not. You see, Joshua, the leader of Israelites, against 5 Amorite kings. Kumbaga, there's a reason to be afraid, because you are fighting 5 kingdoms and you are one alone. And the Lord said unto Joshua, fear them not. Wow, what a comfort. Do not fear these 5 kings, for I have delivered them unto thine hand. There shall not a man of them stand before you. So before Joshua even arrived in the battlefield, God already assured him of victory. What a wonderful assurance. Joshua, don't be afraid. You will never be defeated against these 5 kingdoms. So Joshua therefore came unto them suddenly and went up from Gilgal all night. They called all night. So maybe the Lord just comforted them before Israel and slew them with a great slaughter at Gibeon, and from Gibeon after Jerusalem, and chased them along the way that goeth unto Beth Horon, and smote them to Azeka. Ito na. So from near Jerusalem, the people, they fled, they ran away because they were defeated by the Israelites. And all those Amorites, those 5 kingdoms, they arrived here in Tel Azeka. Okay? Those who never died there in Gibeon, they were able to come here, and the Israelites pursued them until here, and unto Makeda, it's very close here. And listen, finally, and it came to pass as they fled from before Israel, and were in the going down to Beth Horon, the Lord cast down great stones from heaven upon them unto Azekah, and they died. They were more which died with hailstones than they whom the children of Israel slew with a sword. Now this is the most interesting thing here. Why those 5 kings and their warriors were defeated by Israelites? Because from Beth Horon until here in Azekah, the Lord rained down hailstones from heaven. So those hailstones was sent by God, or rained down by God, to destroy the enemies of Joshua. So here in Tel Azeka, maybe you can find some hailstones. So that's a treasure, and you can sell that for millions of money. So try to figure out later on. So you know what we need to learn here is so simple. If God is before you, even thousands of enemies is in front of you, they will never be able to defeat you. Why? Because God will always fighting for His people. That's why God said, Joshua, do not fear them, because I give them to your hand. So go and attack them. You will be victorious. So the Israelites, they were never able to destroy everybody. They were never able to kill all those Amorites by their sword, but with the mighty help of God, by raining hailstones, they're done. And then finally, if you're going to continue the passage, they captured the 5 kings of the Amorites in the cave. They closed the cave, and then after the battle and the death of the soldiers, they brought out the 5 kings of Amorites, and they beheaded all the kings of the Amorites. So final lesson. So we can be like the Gibeonites. If you cannot defeat your enemy, make them your friends. Make a covenant. That's the most wonderful thing, mga kapatid. Wonderful thing to apply in your life. If you cannot overcome your enemy, your people, then try to make them your friends. Okay? Instead of fighting and destroying your life or putting your life into danger, why don't make them your friends? And you know what? We can apply this same principle today on what is happening in Israel. How I wish and I hope, how I pray that the Palestinians That's why they are brothers if you're going to trace back the history. Instead of hatred, anger, and bitterness, why don't make friends with each other, right? So hopefully you've learned something. And one final thing, I will discuss it later on. Since you are now in Tel Azeka, that valley, that is the battleground of David and Goliath. So the Philistines is here, and the Israelites in the other mountain, and the battle happened there in between in the valley. And at the back of the mountain will be our next destination.